Yo, 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 everyone, come on in, come on in. Sorry for being a little bit late, but hopefully you've been watching some of the videos that I've had on my channel, not just the property videos, but also I did a video recently about women in Kenya, Hopefully you've watched that. Basically, what this channel's all about now, going forward. What this channel's all about now going forward is exactly that. It's about looking forward. It's about looking forward. If you're a black man, if you're African heritage man, and you are in the States or you're in the UK or you are in any other European country, you've got to ask yourself the question, and you could see it beneath me: is the juice worth the squeeze? And I don't just mean that about women, actually. I don't just mean that about women. The thumbnail is women of Ghana. But we're not just going to be looking at women in Ghana. We're actually going to be looking at really, and what the channel's been focused on is the whole thing about getting a life outside of the West. And I'm focusing in on the African continent. Now, if your thing is Asia, absolutely fine by me. If your thing is South America, never been there, but it looks great to me. Brazil, I will get there soon. I will get there one day. I'd love to go to Bahia, Brazil, right? So if your thing is South America, any South American country as a black guy, as a black man living in the West, absolutely fine by me. Wherever you can go and find community, find peace, find business, find self-actualization, find purpose, and find a wife, right, who's prepared to stay married for the rest of her life, then that is absolutely fine by me. Absolutely fine by me. And I support you absolutely 100%. Support you 100%. For me, that's the African continent. I'm already married. So it would be about me and my wife relocating to the African continent. It might be Brazil, it might be Kenya, could be anywhere really, but finding life and all of those good things, all of that sort of stuff, relocating really back home. I'm going to say it back home because I consider the African continent home. And the whole thing about pouring into a non-existent community, because that's what we've got in living in the UK. You used to have a black community. If you've been looking at any of my videos, you would have seen, I've spoken for the longest of time about what we had in terms of a black African Caribbean community in the UK, in London, not just London, in Luton, Birmingham, Manchester, all over, really. You would have seen me talking a lot, extensively about the lack, about a lost community and how we lost it, and the fact that a town full of baby mamas does not a community make. That's what I've been talking about for the longest time. But specifically where I am, is just the whole thing about saying, you know what? There's got to be life somewhere better. There has to be a better life somewhere else. I'm just going to go and check some accounts. Don't move, stay where you are. Apologies for that. I just had to go and check something out. We get called away sometimes. I'll cut that out of the video anyway. But anyway, look, let's get back to it. So, since the last stream, what I've been doing, I've been really having a good think about this, and just the whole thing about relocating, taking your time, taking your energy, taking your resources, and literally moving it, shifting what you do and how you do it to another country. That has been really what I've been concerning myself with thought-wise. Why do it? What do you stand to gain from moving to another country? And for a lot of guys, moving to another country is a big step. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. It's a big step. It's a big step for anyone. But what do you stand to gain? And that's the, that is the thought. That's the thing that you've got to seriously think about. What do I stand to gain from packing up and shifting and moving elsewhere to another country? What do I stand to gain? What do I stand to gain? What do I stand to gain? Well, when you live in the West, effectively, as a black guy, got to say it, right? I have no issue with obviously working, studying, using your skill to create business, your own business, or working for someone else, getting a profession, all of that good stuff. Great. Have to say though, there's something about being a first-class citizen in a country. It's something about being treated as a first-class citizen in a country with people that look like you. Got to say it. You're more likely to be treated as an equal. That's just the truth. You're more likely to be treated as an equal, which is the basic reason why I've chosen Africa myself. That's the reason why, But it's every man's decision to actually to make that decision. That's it. What sort of life do you want for yourself? What sort of life? I mean, if you're married, what sort of life do you want for you and your family? What sort of life do you want? Where do you consider it best for you to pour yourself into? The truth is, in the UK, there is no community. There's no black community, right? So what you have to ask the question, if you're living in a country like this, why am I here? What am I here for? Why am I still living here? Right? For what purpose? If I can move from here, go somewhere else and still earn a good living, probably maybe a better living, get the sun, right? Because the truth is, this is a country where the sun don't shine. It shines probably for about 6 weeks, continuous sunshine, 6 weeks of the year, right? Probably from very late July, maybe until the end of August. That's 6 weeks. Every other time, and then you get sporadic sun. But the truth is, you're going to get thunderstorms. You're going to get a mix of weather, right? Some people like that. But, vitamin D is important, right? But as I said before in other streams, there's things about the UK that I do like. I like walking beside the River Thames. I like the theatre. I like all the art galleries. You've got a lot of gigs, a lot of bands come to the UK. So all of that sort of stuff is great. And obviously your friends and family live here. Those friends that are still alive, but if you want to have a family, if you're a black guy and you want to have a family, then trying to do that in the West, in the UK, and I'm sure, by the looks of it, my African-American brothers, my ADOS brothers can attest to this. It's a gamble. And frankly, what this stream is partly all about. You've seen the thumbnail, women of Ghana, right? So we'll come to that, and that'll be the main event. We'll come to that later. But the bottom line is trying to have a family, finding a reliable, trustworthy woman in the West is not easy. It's basically like looking for a needle in a haystack. So we're going to come to that in a moment. We're going to look at something else first before we come to that, but we'll come to that as well. But look, let's just be honest about it, right? Any sensible man, any bloke who's a purpose-driven guy, one of the biggest decisions you're going to have to make is what female you allow into your life. That's a big decision, right? It can make you or break you in terms of your finances. You get with the wrong woman, right? Then it will cost you in divorce. It will cost you in divorce, right? That doesn't mean that you shouldn't get married. It's just that you've got to vet again. That's what you've got to do. That's what you've got to do. You've got to vet again. So you know what? Let's go for that now. Since we're talking about that, because we're going to look at property as well, because, you know, the bottom line is part of relocating is obviously finding somewhere to live. I would always recommend eventually that you don't rent forever. I would recommend that if you've got the capacity to buy land and build, or to buy an apartment, I would suggest to always do that, because I mean, if you rent forever, all you're really doing is putting money in somebody else's pocket. That is really all you're doing. If you're going to rent forever, if you're going to continually rent, you're simply putting money in somebody else's pocket, which I basically don't recommend it. You know, it's better to put money in your own pocket. It's better to basically, you know, buy a house and then put a room in your house on Airbnb, right? It is better to do that, right? And put money in your own pocket. Every move you make, guys, should be about putting money in your own pocket. That should be part of your steps. You know, that's the bottom line of it. So what I'm going to do is this. Let's do this. Let's do that. So hopefully, let me just make sure that's working. I think that's working. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do, right, I am going to bring this up, right? Now, hopefully you can see that, right? So you've seen the thumbnail. The thumbnail is Women of Ghana, right? So what we're going to do, what this stream is going to be all about, we'll talk a little bit about the pros and cons of moving to Ghana. Right? We'll talk a little bit about that. And later on in this stream, what we're going to be looking at, we're going to be looking at apartments in Ghana. Every once in a while, you've seen on my channel that I've been focusing in on property. If you're going to relocate to another country, you're not only going for a woman or a wife to look for a female, you're also, if you're thinking about relocating, you've also got to think about, should I be renting or should I be buying? In my opinion, you may want to rent for a little bit until you learn the lay of the land, and it takes a bit of time to find a property to buy, whether that's an apartment or a house. But as far as I'm concerned, you should always be looking to purchase. And as we all know, litigation or at least as we should be learning about, litigation on the African continent it's high, it's sky high. It's sky high. I know some YouTubers have actually said, no, you shouldn't be looking to buy in Ghana. I disagree. What you should be looking to do is use your common sense, learn the lay of the property land before you part with any money. Always only ever buy a property, in my opinion, with a decent lawyer, property conveyancer. Do your due diligence. If you don't do your due diligence and you lose money, that is all on you and only on you, right? But anyway, we'll be coming to property after this little section. But I suppose where we're going to start is just talking about a relationship, because the bottom line is, as I started saying at the beginning of the stream, before I had to before I got sort of pulled away. Look, the reason why, right? A lot of us, the whole reason for the passport bros, the whole reason for why a lot of guys way before that have decided to basically leave whatever Western country they're in and look for what's possible elsewhere, right? It's because if you get into a relationship with the wrong female, it will cost you. It's as simple as that. It will cost you. So the idea is to put yourself not in a situation that's going to cost you, but to put yourself in a situation with a woman who you can trust. And the truth is, when you look at the divorce statistics in all Western countries, they are sky high. And it's not men that are doing most of the divorcing. It's not men doing most of the divorcing. It's women. We have to just say it how it is. So what this is all about is looking elsewhere, not just that women, but that's partly it. That's partly it. Now, one of the criticisms that a lot of people say is, oh, you're just going to go there and you're going to buy these women. These women are all poor. You're going to go there. You're going to buy these women. They only want it for your money. That is one of the criticisms. But the truth is, in the West, most women want men who have got a six-pack, earn six figures, and are 6 feet tall. So women want men for their money all over planet Earth. Women want men for their money all over planet Earth, including the UK, including this part of the world. So that's not an issue. That bit of it is absolutely not an issue. And really, no man of any substance has an issue with that. Men really are born to be providers, protectors, leaders, cultivators. Just go and check out Miles Monroe's Understanding the Power and Purpose of a Man. Right? Men are born to be certain things. So that's not the issue. The issue is the woman that you pour into, to use T.D. Jakes' euphemism, right? What kind of woman should we be pouring into? What sort of woman should we be pouring into? What I am saying is that the juice in the West, in the UK, right, the women available, the black women available in the UK, honestly, and this pains me to say it, are not worth pouring into. They're not worth pouring into simply because there is absolutely no guarantee. When you look at the divorce statistic in the UK, that for black women, it's sky high. It's sky high. In other words, in the West, in the UK, in Western countries, they are a bad bet. Women in general in the West, in terms of staying married, and you as a man putting your effort, your energy, your all of that good stuff, and pouring your whole everything into, right? It's just not the best bet that you as a man can make. So in answer to the question, is the juice worth the squeeze? Not if you look at the divorce statistics, and not if you look at the amount of men who can't see their children. And these are real statistics. And what it is, women in the West want you just to ignore all of that and do it anyway. Want you to ignore all of that and do it anyway. What I'm saying is, you know what? How about if we consider literally relocating to another country and finding a group of women who have the mindset to stay married, not just get married, but stay married, not just have babies, not just to carry before they marry, but no, to do it the right way round, marry and then carry and then stay married for life. Stay married until the day they are dead. You see what it is? And another bone of contention that I've got: black pastors in Western countries. We could talk about the UK, anywhere in Europe and the US. These pastors in 2024 never talk about the divorce rate, never talk about what women have been doing probably for about 50 years in terms of burning their marriages. They don't talk about it. There's reasons why they don't, because they want these women, because the women in their pews, the women that make up the majority of their congregations, those are the women that have been burning their marriages. Those are the women that have been doing it. If pastors in Western churches ever got a mindset, ever got the courage to actually preach on this issue, on this topic, right? We would have black communities again, but they're all dead. They're all gone. They're all gone. And as I've said before, a church community, I use that word community loosely, whatever happens on church on a Sunday, that is not a community. That's not a community. Having Sunday friends does not a community make. It's that simple. No, no, not at all. So anyway, look, let's just get back to the main point. So what I've been thinking about is what kind of relationships, what kind of women exist elsewhere. In this context, we're talking about Ghana, we're talking about the women available in Ghana. We've already done one on Kenya, women of Kenya. But the truth is, right, you've been having a look at the women to my right. If I point over there, I think it will point the right way. Right now, you will see those women in every country on planet Earth, in the West, in the UK, on UK streets, on Oxford Street, all over the UK, in London, in Brixton, all over the place. You'll see these women in LA, in DC, Detroit, New York. You will see women that look like this. So it's not as if you're going to go to Ghana and see women that look any different to the women that you're going to see in the West, in any American city, in any UK city, in any European city. You've got women that look like this all over the place. All over the place. All over the place. You've got women that look like this everywhere. So it's not as if you're going to go and see a whole load of women that look different in Ghana. Actually, you will do, right? Less obese. But anyway, right? But the main point isn't really the way they look. The main point is the attitude. The main point is the attitude. The main point is the software, right? Specifically, that is the reason that I'm recommending. That's part of the reason why I'm recommending. Guys, listen. If you've not got a passport, if you've not traveled, if you've not tried the African continent, if you've not tried Ghana, if you've not tried Zambia, if you've not tried Kenya, if you've not tried Mozambique, if you've not tried Botswana, if you've not tried Uganda, if you've not tried Zimbabwe, South Africa, if you've not tried Togo, if you've not tried Benin, if you've not tried the Gambia, listen, go and try it. Go for a holiday. Go for a holiday. Just take yourself out there for 2 weeks and as much as you can, immerse yourself in the life. And there's not a lot you can really do in 2 weeks, but at least you can do a recce as to what the possibilities are. It doesn't have to be Ghana. It can be any African country, right? It can be any African country, and talk to people. Talk to people, get to know people, because the truth is, these women that you can see in these pictures, all of them are Ghanaian. All of these women are Ghanaian, right? Every single one. These women could literally be in any city walking around on planet Earth. Any city. I mean, most of these women are, well, I think more or less they've got their real hair. The only, well, I suppose one of my only gripes is, for some reason, I'm not sure why, right? Far too many, this whole thing about having fake hair, weaves, wigs, and lace fronts. Honestly, for some reason, it's caught on in Ghana. You got a whole heap of women there with fake hair, right? And I don't mind sort of if there's a certain type of fake hair. I'll just call it fake hair because I'm not familiar with all the terms and all the rest of it. But there's a certain type of fake hair, if you like, that looks a little bit more natural, right? I don't know what women call it. Right. But there's, for some reason, like this woman here, even though she's gorgeously beautiful, right? The woman just immediately here. She's gone now, right? That long, black, straight hair. I don't know what you call that. Is that a weave? It's horrible, I've got to say. So that disease is everywhere. And in Ghana, far too many women, in my opinion, wear those weird weaves, or I'm assuming that's what they're called. But the hardware is you will not be sorry. You will not be sorry, guys. You will not be sorry. The hardware is brilliant, as you could see, and these are regular Ghanaian women. The hardware is amazing. But more than just the way they look, it's the attitude, it's the software, right? That is really what I'm talking about. It's the fact that you can find a load of women who are more respectful, more likely to work with you, more likely to get on your program, more likely to be all of those things that we all know a wife should be. Right? Don't get me wrong. You're going to find this disease of feminism, this disease of berating, slagging off men, this disease of disrespecting men, this disease of hating men, of fearing men, this disease of of saying that men are of no use to society, even though men have built everything you can see when you open up your eyes in every country. Right? This disease of full-on hatred and disrespect for men, right, is slowly beginning to seep in, right, really slowly, to the African continent. I'm really hoping that the women there see through social media and the nonsense that's, that obviously they're clearly beginning to eat. That's emanating from the West. I'm really hoping that African women do not lap it up wholesale. But the sad truth is, social media is very powerful, and a lot of African women like to dance on TikTok. Right? So they're on social media a lot. They're on social media a lot. A lot of African women are on social media a lot. But nonetheless, you're still going to find more traditional women all over the African continent. Divorce is very low in all African countries. And there's a hell of a lot more respect. These women that you're looking at here have a hell of a lot more respect, right, for Black men. Don't get me wrong. You can't ask, guys, you can't ask for a traditional woman and not be a traditional man. What that means is that you are going to and will be expected to pay for everything. And if you're not all right with that, stay where you are. If you're not all right with that, stay where you are. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Because chances are, even in the West, whatever Western country you're in, you still got to pay for everything anyway. Right? It's just that you're going to get a mouthy, disrespectful woman who basically thinks all you're good for is your sperm and nothing else. At least on the African continent, you're going to get, generally speaking, you're going to get a woman who doesn't believe in divorce, right? Believes in staying married, and who is respectful, right? And honestly, that is really all men want. Just a respectful woman who cooks, right? It's as simple as that. And I say that in jest, because the truth is, right, most African men that I talk to, they cook. they cook. And not only that, most Caribbean men that I talk to, they cook. They cook. And cook well as well, right? They cook. That's just the truth. I don't even know why that's the case, but it is true. It is true. It is true. It is true. As my sister-in-law said, my sister-in-law, I think she's 61, right? It was my brother's birthday the other day. He's actually a year younger than his wife, right? And by the way, they're both in Ghana at the moment as well. They've gone to Ghana on they've gone there for 2 weeks to a reggae festival in Accra, right? So they've been on excursions all over the place. So they've been to Elmina, they've been to, God, where else have they been? They've been to a lot of different places in Ghana. Sad though, they say the tour operator's not brilliant, but it's their first time going and they're loving the trip. They're absolutely loving the trip, and I'm glad they've got a chance to go and see the motherland. Honestly glad they've got a chance to go and see the motherland. For those of you that don't know, my DNA, that means my brother's DNA as well, and my son's DNA, is literally 50% Yoruba and 50% from Burkina Faso. But what I realize is that the people, where that, and because it's with African ancestry, they literally pin it down to a place, right? A specific it's brilliant the way they do it. Other DNA tests, what they tend to do is broaden it out and say you come from a country, but that doesn't help you, because obviously what you really want to know is what part in that country do you come from. But that's what you get from AfghanAncestry.com, which is really, really good. So yeah, so my DNA is literally 50% Yoruba and 50% from basically Ghana, Burkina Faso, because it's one set of people there. Having said that, I also did the DNA test with 23andMe. They got a slightly different result, which is weird. They said that my DNA is 75% from Nigeria, Nigeria, and around about 25%, something like that, 25% from sort of Ghana stroke Burkina Faso, and I think about 5% white. Oh boy. But anyway, you know, that's what a DNA test is. But anyway, look, so guys, you know, I really want you to begin to think about this, right? And again, as I said before, it does not have to be the African continent. It doesn't have to be there. It could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be the African continent. For you, it might be Asia, it might be South America, it might be the Caribbean. The Caribbean's gorgeous, man, in terms of weather, right? The Caribbean is lovely, you know. Woody Meyer has spent a whole heap of time in the Caribbean, spent a whole heap of time in Jamaica. And honestly, my family comes from Jamaica. And it's made me want to go and do a trip to the Caribbean, to Jamaica. You know, it's made me want to go and do that. You know, prior to that, it was just, you know, yeah, let's just get it on for the African continent, for Ghana. And it still is like that. I just want to do a trip to Jamaica, literally just to see where my family comes from, you know, where my mum, because we still got land there. Basically, we still got land there in the countryside, just outside Spanish Town. You know, but anyway, so guys, you know, this is an important question, right? Ask yourself the question, look yourself in the mirror, think about your life, right? When you're driving to work, when you're on when you're on public transport, you're traveling to work, when you're at work, you know, when you're with your family, when you're with your baby mother, when you're out with your friends, when you're out on that coffee date, or if you've been a silly idiot and you're forking out 50, 60, 70, 100 pounds on dinner for a woman you don't know, while you're sitting there and you're listening to her Babylon, ask yourself the question, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the life you've got in whatever Western country you're in, is the juice worth the squeeze? Be honest. Just be honest with yourself. Even if you're not going to be honest with me, even if you're not going to be honest in the chat, in the comments, if you're not going to be honest with anyone else, ask yourself the question, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the life you're living worth it? Did you think you were going to be living at whatever level you're living at, with whoever you're in a relationship with, taking the mouth, the lip, the disrespect, all of that sort of stuff? And let's be honest, right? That is what life is like for, if you're a black guy living in the West. You're not only taking disrespect from work, disrespect from the police, you're also taking disrespect from the woman you're sleeping with, if you are living in the West, generally speaking. Nothing is ever 100%. I'm talking generally speaking. You're taking disrespect from your baby mama, or from that woman who you're sitting opposite on that coffee date, or if you've been stupid enough to fork out £100 on a date, you're taking a level of disrespect, Mr. Black Man. Just be honest about it. It's just the truth. From whatever Western country you're in, you're taking that disrespect. You don't have to lie to me. You don't have to lie to me. So this is all about saying, getting you to ask yourself that question. Is life, might there be a better life to be had elsewhere in another country? And don't get me wrong, if you have this kind of a conversation with your friends, with your brothers, with your guy friends, they may say, what the hell can be better with this? This is great. This is great. What can be better than this? If you say to them, well, you know, I've watched the live stream and this guy was saying, you know, I should check out Ghana, I should check out Botswana, I should check out Zambia, I should check out Uganda, I should check out Kenya, I should check out South Africa, I should just go on a holiday. You're going to get your guy friends saying, what do you mean? What do you want to go there for? They're all living in mud huts down there, and all those women want you for is your money. That's what you're going to get back. That's what you're going to get back. You say that to your, literally to your blood sisters, to your mum, or to that woman you're out on the coffee date. I'm thinking of traveling. I'm thinking of traveling to the African continent. The women are going to say to you, "What you want to go there for? You don't want to go there. You don't want to. Would you want to? No, you don't want to go there. No, you don't want to go there. You're going to get. Everyone's going to try and talk you out of it, because what it is, the women want you to sit there and take a life of disrespect. Your mum wants you to take a life of disrespect. She wants you to marry some woman just like her. And don't get me wrong, some of our mothers are fantastic. But let's be honest, if you're a black guy living in the West, chances are you were born to a baby mama, a single parent. That's what the statistics say, right? If you're my generation, maybe not. But if you're younger, yes. That's just the God's honest truth. That's the God's honest truth. Those women, that woman that you're out on the coffee date with, that woman that you're out on that coffee date with, the chances are she's a baby mama and you're out on a coffee date with her. Or if you've been stupid enough to buy her dinner, right? So you're out on a dinner date with a baby mama that you don't know, you got to buy her kids food to go home, right? And if you tell her, I'm thinking of traveling to the African continent, I'm thinking of actually relocating there, even if even if her family comes from the African continent, she don't want to go back. Listen, I've spoken to women for years, right, whose families come from Nigeria, Ghana, wherever. Would they ever consider relocating back there? Never. Never. They wouldn't. Why? Wouldn't, because they're addicted to the perks. They're married to the government in the UK. They get state benefits from especially if they're a baby mama, they get state benefits from the government in the UK, right? So why leave? Do you think they're going to get those state benefits from a Ghanaian government or from a Nigerian government or from a Kenyan government? No, it doesn't exist over there. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And that's partly why marriages over there last longer, because there's no safety nets. There's no safety net. There isn't. There's no safety net. You stay married, right? In the West, there's so many safety nets that women can basically burn their marriages, take all your money through divorce, have you pay for them and your kids that you never see, that you might see every other weekend and half the holiday, because in the UK that's called standard contact time. Every other weekend and half the holiday. Guys, that juice, as far as I'm concerned, it is not worth the squeeze. That is no way for any man to live, right? No way for any man to live. It isn't. And so these women that you can see, as I said before earlier on in the stream, you're going to see these women walking around, I don't know, any American city, definitely around in the UK, in London. You're going to see women that look like this. What I'm dealing with in this live stream is the software. What's going on up here? The divorce rate in African countries is low. It's low. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were saying that the divorce rate in in Kenya, or I think it was Kenya, is literally non-existent. It's non-existent. Right? These are all Ghanaian women here, right? But it's very similar. It's very similar. So that makes these women a better bet. That's what I'm getting at here. It makes these women a better bet. And the truth is, as Kevin Samuels used to say, men are cost-benefit calculators. Men are cost-benefit calculators. So guys, you could do the math yourself. Do the math yourself. These women look gorgeous. They look beautiful. Right? Some better than others, but they look beautiful. Even the bigger ones look gorgeous, but it's the software, it's the mentality. It's, that's the deal, right? In the West, women want black women want black guys to be traditional, but they're not traditional women. They want you to pay for everything, which is fine, absolutely fine by me. No problem with that at all. But they don't want to be traditional women at all. Right. So it's better to pick up your toys, pick up your bag, pack your bags, right, and relocate. Just go somewhere else. And the truth is, there is no black community left in the UK, and every other black community that I've witnessed, right, is crumbling in the West. It's crumbling, slowly but surely crumbling. Don't get me wrong. You got more of it. If you're watching this from the States, you got more black. You got more black community, if you like, in various parts of the States. But in the UK, nope. So that is why I am recommending that black guys living here, living in Europe, living in the States, at least think, right, about the possibility that it might be better to relocate somewhere else. Listen, you got to begin to think about the world as a global community, or at least begin to think of your life as a global life. If you're a man of means, right, if you've got a decent, if you've got 2 pennies to rub together, right, if you've got money in the bank, if you've got a career, if you've got a skill that you can sell, right, if you've got property in whatever country you're living in, then effectively you are a man of means, and you can consider the possibility of relocating. Poor guys can't relocate anywhere, right? That's the truth. Guys without money, guys without something to back them up, those are the guys that literally have to stay put in whatever Western country they were born in. That's the truth, right? But for other guys, for other men of means, right, you can actually consider a life elsewhere, or at least consider a global life, yeah, whereby you can have access to women, to vet for a woman, to vet for a wife who's more likely to stay married until she is dead, right? That must be the goal. And if you're looking for that in the West, trust me, I know you're looking for a needle in a haystack. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. You're looking for a needle in a haystack. In the West, you're going to find gorgeous looking women. You're going to find beautiful women, physically amazing women living in the West. You will do, as well as quite a few fat ones. But you're going to find some gorgeous looking women in the West. Look, that is not what this is all about. You're right, Jeff. God bless you, man. That is not what this is all about. No, this is specifically about saying, you know what? On the African continent, not only are you going to find, because that's where we all come from, not only are you going to find women who look like Jennifer, Jolene, I don't know, Sandra, that live down the road from where you are now. They're going to look like that, fit, sexy, all of that, but they're going to have a different, they're going to have, in my opinion, better programming, right, from mother and father, honestly. And I've spoken to a lot. And the programming is better. I don't want to, as I said before, I don't want to confuse you. I don't want to misrepresent the women there. You've got feminism seeping in to the African continent via social media, right? And it's seeping in, in some places where they're more connected. It's actually seeping in quite quick, right? Because, the African continent, like South America, is connected via the web. And this disease, this dis-ease called feminism is basically it's a worldwide problem. It is. It's worse than COVID. Right? Seriously, it's worse than COVID. Right? But right, you're still definitely more likely, right? The norm, the cultural norm, right, is for women to be traditional and hold traditional values. Part of that is to say that you are the provider, you're also the protector, you're also my leader, your job is to cultivate the family, and so on and so on and so forth, right? And that is the prevailing mindset of most of the vast majority of African women in any African country you're gonna visit, right? You're gonna visit, right? Go see for yourself if you don't believe me. Go see for yourself if you don't believe me. At least start with the web. Just go and have a look on the web. Go see for yourself if you don't believe me. Go see for yourself. Check it out yourself. Start with a web search, right? just and then when you get your next holiday from your job, that week, or those 2 weeks, right? Those 2 weeks out of the 52 weeks in the year that your work allows you a holiday, right? Pre-book your ticket, first class or second class. If it's second class, if you need to make it cheaper and stop over somewhere, like just so that you can afford it, right? Do that, right? And go and have a look in one of those countries. Spend some time there. Do that first. Do that, take your holiday. If you're living in the States, right? Don't take your holiday just to, I don't know, LA or wherever you African Americans, my ADOS cousins. Don't take your holiday just to the next state or across, just to the other side of the country, or just to go and see family in another state. Don't do that. No, take your holiday to South America. Forget, if you're living in the States, I wouldn't even do the Caribbean, right? I love the Caribbean, I love Jamaica, but don't even do that. Do South America, right? Or do the African continent. In this case, we're looking at Ghanaian women. These women are all Ghanaian, right? Do that. Do that. Do that. It's important. Do that, right? Do that. Ah, there. All right, look, I'm going to drop this down now. All right, we might come back to that later on because I love that presentation. And I'm sure you do too, right? So we might do that a bit later on. We might come back to that a bit later on. Look, what I'm going to do now, right, is bring up our next item. Now, you did hear me say earlier on that, and what this stream is really all about, it's about relocating. It's about focusing specifically on relocating, in this case to the African continent. You heard me say that previously that I've looked at property, not just in Ghana. In fact, in Ghana, I've looked at houses, looked at apartments, but also in Kenya, I've begun looking at apartments. But because this stream is all about Ghana, right? What we are going to do, we are going to look at some more apartments that have recently come on stream, right? So these are a load of apartments that have recently come on the market. I thought it'd be a good idea to have a look at some of these apartments. And what I'm going to be doing, I will be chopping these into shorter sections, and I'll put them up because I think these apartments need to be looked at, basically. Right. And again, obviously, if you're going to be making a move to another country, if you're going to be looking to relocate, then, as I said before, in my opinion, yeah, you may rent for a short time, but really it's about, in my opinion, buying somewhere permanent, because property prices go up. Properties are a decent investment. Even if it's a slow market rise, you can always, when you're not there, put it on Airbnb. You can rent it out. If you want to, you can rent it to Ghanaians, and all of those bits and pieces. Another thing I want to say before I move on as well is, there seems to be online a lot of conversation between Black people who are children of enslaved Africans. You can use that phrase, or we can use diaspora Africans or Black African Americans, ADOS, Black Caribbeans, and all the rest of it. There seems to be a lot of I don't know what you might call it, bickering. Is bickering a good word? Some people may say a lack of respect. Some people may say, just there seems to be. I don't know. I'm assuming it's just online. I think it's just online. I don't think it's in real life. I do want to say this though, right? I was listening to Dennis Berlin's podcast. He's got a great YouTube channel. Do go and check it out. It's brilliant. And he's a lawyer as well. In the UK, we call lawyers solicitors, but he's a lawyer. He was making a point that's completely valid. And I know Tariq Nasheed made a similar point. Their point was this, right? the way that I would phrase it is this: when African heritage people come from the Caribbean or come from the African continent, they sometimes don't have very positive things to say about African Americans, about ADOS African Americans. Sometimes don't have very positive things to say about them. But yet, when there are state, what's a good word? When there are state benefits being handed out or on the offer, all of a sudden, to use that phrase, all of a sudden, you've got these two groups, people from the Caribbean, black people from the Caribbean, Africans from the African continent. All of a sudden, they're African American, right? And when that happens, the ADOS African Americans, if you like, the ADOS brothers and sisters, don't get the benefits that they should get. Does that make sense? Hopefully I've explained that in some kind of way that makes some sort of sense. So I completely agree with that. You see, if you're of Caribbean descent and you come from the Caribbean, if you come from Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, whatever African country you come from, and then you know, in the last few years, right, last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you've journeyed to the Americas, to North America, right, to the USA, then should you be ahead of ahead in the queue for any, call it what you want, benefits, handouts, state handouts, leg ups, whatever the correct phraseology is, should you be ahead of one of our ADOS brothers and sisters? I don't think so. I don't think so, right? So that's one point that was being made, and the other point was just the general, if you like, berating, slagging off that sometimes comes out of the mouths of those of Caribbean descent, black people of Caribbean descent, when they go to America, when they go to live in America, and Africans who have recently arrived to America from the continent, right? Just sometimes the verbology is very negative towards our ADOS brothers and sisters. For whatever reason, it's just negative, right? I think you can critique people, right? But I don't have an issue with that. But it's just generally when you slag people off without anything really to back it up. Yeah. But yet when the benefits are being handed out, and when you differentiate yourself from that group, does that make sense? When you're very quick to say, no, we are Caribbean, or we are, no, I'm not with them. I'm not with them. No, I'm Nigerian. No, I'm Ghanaian. I'm not with them. Yeah, I might be black, but I'm not part of them. Does that make sense? But when the benefits are being handed out, all of a sudden you're African American or ADOS. Does that make sense? So two valid points that I consider to be quite valid, right? Yeah. You know, but anyway, that's just one of those conversations that's been happening online that I've been looking at, right? And I think those 2 points are very valid. If you're coming from the African continent or the Caribbean and you're going to live in America, right? Personally, I think you've got to educate yourself as to what's been happening with our ADOS African American brothers and sisters since the time they were kidnapped from Africa, dragged to the Americas, to North America, and were made to pretty much work for nothing, right? I think you've got to educate yourself about that history. Does that make sense? I mean, you don't have to, it's up to you. But, you know, this tension, there doesn't have to be that air of tension. Basically, it just doesn't have to exist, or the mindset. Do you know what I mean? Just it can be way different. But generally speaking, people don't want to educate themselves. Generally speaking, people are a little bit intellectually lazy. That's quite normal, right? For people to not be bothered in any way, shape, or form. That's quite normal. That's quite normal. But anywho, that's just one of those little conversations that's been happening online. I've been loving Woody Meyer going to Jamaica. That's been crazy. That's been really, really interesting watching him in Jamaica and making those links. And to be quite honest with you, that is what I prefer to see. I prefer to see, and I'm going to use that phrase, our people making those links when they travel to different places and spaces and different countries. I prefer to see that. I prefer to see the Woody Meyers of this world making links between different when he goes to Brazil, when he goes to South America, when he goes to any Caribbean island, when he goes to wherever he goes, any African country, making those links and looking at the commonalities, the things that bring us together, the things that we have in common. I prefer to look at that rather than consistently looking at the things that divide us. But truth is truth. As I said, Dennis Sperling and Tariq Nasheed, in terms of those 2 points that I mentioned before, completely valid points. They're just completely valid points. So I'm totally with that. Anyway, that's a massive detour. But anyway, it's all good. All right, so what I'm going to do now, look, I'm going to bring this in, right? And we're going to look at some property in Ghana, some apartments in Ghana. We're going to look at some apartments in Ghana. So what I've been saying all along, right? If you are looking to relocate, then I'm going to say to you, listen, you may want to rent for a little bit, only for a little bit, right? While you look to purchase your own place. That could be an apartment like the one we're looking at, or it could be a house, right? And as I said before, despite what some people like to say, only men of means, only men with 2 pennies to rub together, only men, right, that probably have a property in the country that they're looking to relocate from, only those men can go to any other country, in this case Ghana, and purchase anything, right? Because the chances are you're not going to want to be getting a mortgage in any African country because the interest rate's sky high. In Ghana, I'm sure the interest rate is between 13 and 20%. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's really high. I would not recommend going for a mortgage in Ghana or any other African country. I would only recommend that you actually have the money up front to buy whatever land or property or house or apartment you're looking to buy, right? So that's my advice. And as I'm going to keep on saying, do your due diligence. Don't just hand over money just like that. Have a solicitor that works in whatever African country you're looking to purchase property from, and in your own country that you're looking to relocate from. You need to have the correct professionals around you to make sure that you don't end up in a court for land litigation or some land squabble or dispute. Does that make sense? Right? And that is about you doing your due diligence. If you don't do it, then don't expect anybody else to do it. Right? Okay. So anyway, with that said, let's look at this lovely property. So this is a 1-bed flat. We call it a flat 1-bed apartment. This is in Labone. So this is in Accra. So, but actually, let me show you where it is first, exactly. Right. So what I'm going to do, right, quickly, let's just drop that down. And let me bring up a map so that you can clearly see where it is, all right? So you should be able, let me drop that in. Cool, right? So you can see that, okay? So you can see Accra there. So we're looking at Ghana, as I said before. For those of you that don't quite understand the lay of the land, right? So that's Accra, right? This is Ghana. You can see that this bit here is all Ghana, right? Togo, Benin, Lagos, right? That's Nigeria there. So let's zoom in again so you can get an idea of what we're looking at. So Lebone is literally on the coast. And you may have heard me say that my brother and his wife currently are in Ghana. They're on a little tour there. Well, it's actually, they've gone for a music festival for a couple of weeks, but they've gone to Amina. They're actually staying at some hotel near Labadi Beach. So they're staying somewhere around here, right, in some hotel. But the apartment we're going to be looking at is in this area, all right? And that's in a place called Lebone or Leboni, if hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, right? Which is, we're going to be looking at one in a minute, by the way, in Osu, right? We'll look at that, right? So this area is probably about 20, not even 20 minutes in the car to the center of Accra, right? To the center. I mean, this is what I'm calling the center, basically, right? So really, it's all the same area, right? That's all the same area, all right? So that's where we are going to be looking at the next property. So that's Lebone. Let's quickly look at East Legon. So East Legon's gorgeous. Me and the wife have stayed there in East Legon a couple of times. It is a lovely place. East Legon should be, actually, let's just do this. East Legon. Whoops. Spell it right. Right, East Legon. Here we go. Right, so that is East Legon. So you can see it's in the same area. Lebone was down here, right? So anyway, East Legon is really, really nice. It's right near the airport. So you'd land 15 minutes, you're in East Legon. Right, so we're going to be looking at about 3 apartments there as well in this live. Yeah. Okay, so let me drop that down. Let me drop that down, and I will bring up that first property again. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. Let's find it. Here we go. Share that. Let's drop it in. Nice one. Right. Okay. So, all right, you can see this property here. It's a 1-bed apartment, right? It's going for what's that? 1,152,000 Ghana cedis. I will tell you how much that is. Now, I'm just going to put the figure in here. This is just a currency converter. So that's £67,000, right? So for £67,000, this is what you get. Let's go through the property. All right, so you can see the layout. Oh, can I get rid of that? That's annoying me, that is. I don't know what is wrong with this. Whoops. Don't know why. Yes, it's gone now. Good. Right. Okay. So you can see the layout there. So you get a bedroom, you get a balcony, which is nice. Balcony, bedroom, bathroom, shower room, bit of a living space, kitchen, dining area. Right. So it's a rectangular shape. Right. That looks like this. Is that the same thing? Just the reverse, or what's going on there? That's just the same layout. No, it's just a reverse layout. Same apartment, reverse layout. All right. This is the finishing. I don't know if this is the actual apartment, but it is the finishing. Right. Now, why are we looking at these? We're looking at these because when you're not there, as I said in previous streams, you can be putting this and making money out of it on Airbnb. You can get what generally happens is that these apartments, you've got management companies over there that will be happy to look after it on your behalf. This is just the finishing. So it's not what, obviously your 1-bed studio flat is not as big as this, right? That's what the building's going to look like. I don't think this is I think this is an artist impression. So just remember, like all things, buying off plan, buying it before it's built, is a lot cheaper. And generally speaking, these places go like hotcakes. So if you wait until it's built so you can see it, the chances are nothing will be left. It will all be sold. Right. And again, it's about you doing your due diligence in terms, when you, if you're going to buy off plan. I personally recommend buying off plan, but do your due diligence. That is completely your responsibility. All right. So you can see what the finishings are going to look like, generally speaking. All right. And that's the layout. Let's have a little bit of a read about this. Okay, so Anea is a first-class community apartment complex situated in the heart of Lebone. It has 20 units, which consist of studio, 1 and 2 bedrooms. Yes, so it's a studios and 1 and 2 bed units. Completion date is in 36 months. So that's 3 years away. I'm not sure when this one came on, so I'm going to make an assumption that they've broken ground already and are along a lot. You know, that building's already started. Payment plan says there 50. I'm assuming that's just $50 reservation. Or is that 50,000? Not sure. 25% deposit and pay in equal installments for the duration of the construction. And that's quite normal. That is actually quite normal. And let's just check if you can see that. Yes, you can. Right, so that's quite normal to pay at intervals a lot. I mean, basically, when the quarter's done, you pay 25K or 25%. When half's done, you pay another 25%. Then you pay another 25%. Non-completion, you pay the remainder. Right, something like that. It'd be some sort of payment plan like that. Yeah. Okay, bedrooms 1, bathroom 1, 2 garages. Not sure what that means. Well, I know what 2 garages is, but why would you want 2? But anyway, maybe 2 public garages. Maybe that's what's meant. 35 square meter apartment. Now, what do you get in terms of amenities? You get air conditioning, right, which you need in a hot country. Internet, get a garden. I'm assuming that's a communal garden and a communal garage, right? You get a swimming pool, which is lovely, all right? And when it comes to putting some place on Airbnb, I would always recommend that you get somewhere with a swimming pool, with a gym, with things that your Airbnb guests are going to want. Yeah, in this case, they've just got a gym. Right, a swimming pool. It would have been nice if they would have had a gym. We're going to be looking at apartments that have a swimming pool, have a gym, have a restaurant, all on site. We'll come to those in a minute. Security service, generator, cooker, refrigerator, microwave. So all of those white goods are already in the apartment. Yeah. Right. Cool. So that is for 67,000 quid. So that's what you get. You get a 1-bed apartment, 67,000 pounds. All right. I think that's not bad. I think there's better, but I think that's a good one. I think that's quite a nice one. The better would just be basically more amenities. That is what would make this better. Just more amenities. As I said, a gym, some kind of on-site restaurant, maybe a kids' play area, right? But, we'll come to that. But that's not a bad one to sort of kick us off. That's not a bad one to kick us off. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do now, let's bring up another apartment, right? So the idea really is, guys, the reason why we're looking at this, as I'm going to keep saying, the reason why we're looking at this is to get you guys to really begin to think about relocating, right? That's what this is all about. To get you guys to raise up your eyes, right? To look, to raise up your heads and to begin to say to yourself, it doesn't have to be this way. Seriously, man, to begin to say to yourself, life doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. You've got the power to change your life. You've got the power to do something else and do something differently. Yeah. All right. Okay. So the next apartment is in a place called Osu. You saw me point it out on the map. It's literally bang next to Accra. I think this is partly classed as Greater Accra. I might be wrong. Okay, but this is a lovely apartment, and this is going for 900,000 Ghana cedis. So let's see what that is in pounds, right? Let's see what that is in pounds. So 900 Ghana cedis is just £52,000. So the truth is, you wouldn't even have, if you got a house in the UK, you wouldn't even have to sell your house. You can simply just remortgage your house, right? And buy this apartment. What people used to do years ago, they simply used to buy apartments, buy flats, buy houses on credit cards. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you could if you wanted to. A lot of people used to do it. A lot of people used to do that. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at this. So this one, for £900,000, you get a gym, you get a swimming pool. Now remember, this is just on the outskirts of Accra. I think this is classed as Greater Accra. The truth is, right, to the to the city centre, right, it's probably only about 15 minutes drive. Right, now again, you're buying off plan. This is a bigger building, right? That's a plan that you can see. Can't really see a lot with that actually. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Where's the clickable? Is that it? Yeah, right, okay. Right, so I'm not going to bother zooming in on those because it can't really see what's going on. Right, here we go. Yeah, that's it. Right, okay. So let's get back. So yeah, so you're buying off plan. All right. It's a bit of a shame because they don't show you. Here we go. Right. So again, these are just artist impressions, but the truth is, right, these artist impressions, we went to have a look at Embassy Gardens before it was just as they were sort of finishing it up, and the artist impressions, in fact, it looked better in person than than the artist impressions, right? So I do I do give these guys a hand clap for the quality of what I've seen anyway. Right. But anyway, this is what you're getting. So you're getting a 1-bed apartment. I think you've got, we'll probably actually, let's read the spec, right? So studio, these figures are a bit out because the figure that, 900,000 Ghana cedis is £52,000. So I'm not sure why that's coming up as 90,000 USD. But anyway, 1-bed. Well, I don't. Yeah, these figures are not that figure. So I don't quite understand what's going on there. Two different figures. But anyway, commission 27,000 Ghana cedis, which is nothing really. Registration fee 200 Ghana cedis. 1 bathroom, 1 bedroom, 1 garage. I'm assuming that's a communal garage. Right, okay, so you get a garden, you get a roof terrace. It'd be good if they showed a picture of the roof terrace in the actual pictures, but they don't. You get a swimming pool, you get security service generator, a water reservoir. Not a lot of details after that. Not a lot of details. Let's come back to these pictures. All right, so you get a decent gym, you get a nice pool. Did it say a rooftop something or other as well? Roof terrace. What does this say? Amenities. Right, backup generator, fitness, gym, landscape garden, swimming pool, 24-hour concierge, which is nice. You got people on the front desk, so Tom, Dick, or Harry can't just walk in. So it's completely secure, completely safe. Backup water supply, car park, 24-hour security. Secured electric fencing, internet connection. So this is a nice place. I'm assuming that 900,000 Ghana cedis is correct, right? And it might not be, or is maybe £52,000 is 90,000 USD. I've not done the conversion. Maybe. I mean, either way, That's a good one. That's for 900,000 CD, 900,000 Ghana CDs. If you could get an apartment, right, like this, which is worth 52,000 quid, right, that would make money on Airbnb. It's as simple as that. Where it is in Accra, when you're not there, right, if you're not going to be there for a few months of the year or whatever months of the year, this place will pay for itself, right? You may remember, if you go back and look at some of my previous streams, you will see that I've actually gone on to Airbnb and looked at the amount of money you might expect if you put whatever apartment you buy on it, on that website. Definitely. So when you buy a place, right, you really should work backwards. How much are you buying it for? Obviously, you're not going to be getting a mortgage, but what the return's going to be on a website like Airbnb when you're not in the country. Obviously, if you're going there to live, then that's may or may not be a slightly different set of priorities. But the bottom line is these apartments are cheap, right? They're cheap. For what you're getting, they're actually quite cheap, right? So brilliant, right? So that's not a bad one. Okay, so let's drop that one down. What we'll do a couple more and then we'll call it a day, all right? Now remember, right, the idea is if you're looking to relocate to another country, it's not just a decent female that you're looking to try and bag, right? You're also looking for a decent place to live, which is why we're doing this. You're also looking for a decent, seriously, you're also looking for a decent place to live, which is why we're doing this. We will in the future look at work, look at self-employment, look at starting a business, all of that stuff, because you're not going to Ghana or very many of these African countries looking to get a job, right? That's not what you're looking to do. You're looking to start business. That's what you're looking to do, right? So we will come to that. We will do a few streams about that in the near, not too distant future. All right. So what we're going to do, I am going to bring up our next one. I'm going to bring up our next apartment. Hopefully, have I got that? Is that the right one? Let me just make sure. Let me make sure. Oops. Let me make sure. Right, I think that's the right one. So let's share that, bring it in to the stream. Lovely. Right, okay, the next three that we're going to look at are all in the same place, all in East Legon, right? East Legon is like central London. It's the equivalent to UK's central London. That's basically what it is, right? So you can see that this one is going for 1,265,000 Ghana cedis. So let's see what that is in pounds and dollars. Actually, let's do pounds and dollars, right? So in pounds, it is. Oops. Do that again. Right, let's do that one more time. Do that. Paste that in. Right, wrong. Let's just copy that figure again. Right, okay, so let's do that. Right. Okay, so that's 1,265,000 Ghana cedis is £73,500, right? £73,500. And in terms of USD, that's $92,000, right? $92,000. So what do we get for that money, right? You can see in the picture, and there's only a few pictures here, so there's not a lot going on. But anyway, right, this one I'm sure is in Embassy Gardens. I can tell because I remember that kitchen, right? All these places are the same in there, right? Trust me, it's a nice place, right? This place has 2 swimming pools and it's got an on-site little restaurant and it's got a brilliant gym, right? So I can definitely vouch for this place. Not enough pictures here. So just whoever owns this just isn't selling it. Ridiculous, but trust me, this is a decent place, right? Let's read it. Right, let's read. So hopefully you can see that. Make that nice and big. So a beautiful studio apartment for sale in East Legon. Features fitted kitchen, wardrobe, balcony, 24-hour security, which is that concierge, rooftop terrace, swimming pool, and gym. Right. This honestly is a brilliant place. Right. And the price has gone up because because this is the one that me and the wife went to see, not this particular apartment, but we went and looked at a lot of apartments in this development. Right. And the studio, which is the size we're looking at here, was going for 60. God, what was it? I think it was £60,000 when we went to view it. £60,000. I don't, or if that, but round about 60. I actually think it was on sale, on offer for less than that. But anyway, 60. Right? I mean, that was a while ago. I think that was just before lockdown. But yeah, so it's gone up a few quid. I think it's gone up about £30,000, which is okay. And it's brilliant for Airbnb because it's 15 minutes from the airport, walking distance to great restaurants in a great area, East Legon. Right. So this is a good bet, basically. A good buy. Yeah, a great buy. That's what that one is. Great buy. Yeah, so if you could find anything like this, right, then, you know, you will be earning off Airbnb, basically, when you're not there. Yeah, but let's move on quickly, right? That's a nice one. Let's get that down, drop that out, and let's see what we're going to be looking at next. All right, let's see what we're going to be looking at next. Now, basically, you know what I'm trying to do is keep the cost of these apartments right the way down, simply because what I'm more concerned about is just the cost of relocating. Yeah, just the whole thing about, you know, just relocate. Where are we looking to relocate? How much is it going to cost? You know, all of that sort of stuff. And can we earn money from the apartment when we are not there, right? So that is primarily why I'm choosing the apartments that I am choosing. That's the whole point, all right? So with that said, let me bring up our next apartment. Let me bring up our next apartment. Let me bring up the next one. If I could find it, that is. Let's bring up the next one. There it is. Lovely. Okay, so let's drop it into the stream. Right. Here we go. Right, okay. Right. So again, this is a one-bed apartment for sale in East Legon. Right, it's going for 1,329,000 Ghana cedis. Let's quickly see how much that is going to cost. Right, put that in there. Okay, so 1,329,000 Ghana cedis is 90. Just round it up to say $97,000 US. Right, do that in pounds. Okay, that's £77,000. £77,000. Right. For those that don't know, it's now 17 Ghana cedis to the pound. Wow. Wow. So the first time I went to Ghana, which was just 1 year before lockdown, that's the first time me and the wife went. I think it was something like it was under 7 Ghana cedis to the pound. So boy, you know, I don't know what's going on there. I think the government's got to get a hold of inflation or something. I'm not an economist, so I don't quite understand what's going on there, right? But, you know, there are some things going on economically there, right? You have to say it. 17 Ghana cedis to the pound. 17, right? So, yeah, government, your job to get a hold of that. Your job. Anyway, let's look at the property. But the funny thing is, that's not stopped the property market. You know, the property market is still buoyant. is still going great guns, right? But anyway, let's look at this. All right, so you can see the building there. This is in East Legon, so I've already shown you where East Legon is. Right, so this one comes with a roof terrace. All right. The rooms, the finishings look lovely. Is that all that? Oh, here we go. Hopefully you can see that. I'm trying to make it a bit bigger. This is the general finishing. Really, really nice. Really nice. That's the concierge. So again, you know, you have to either live in the building or be a guest in order to gain access to the building. Is that it? Got a roof terrace. All right, let's read the spec. Strategically located on East Legon's Boundary Road, this development is expected to be the most sought after development within the neighborhood. Recent statistics have shown a 68% increase in demand for property within the East Legon Ajeringano areas over the past 3 years. This property consists of luxurious executive suites, one-bedroom duplexes, as well as two-bedroom units. This is the ideal investment property for vacation rentals, in other words, Airbnb, with expected annual rental yields between 10 and 14%, which isn't bad. Yeah. And again, amenities, air conditioning, cooker, washing machine, refrigerator, microwave, DSTV, which is cable, roof terrace, swimming pool, security service and concierge, generator, water reservoir. All right, so that's what you're getting for your money. Brilliant. Okay, so let's, so yeah, that's a good one. So that's a nice restaurant on the top of your building. The finishing is good. It's lovely. And all of that for 1,329,000 Ghana cedis, which is £77,000, which is 97,000 USD. Right. So that's what you're getting there. That's a nice one. That's in East Legon. I think it works really, really well. I think that one works brilliantly. Yeah, good. And again, this is about relocating. This is about successfully relocating. That was a nice property, man. And you know, when you consider how much property costs in our part of the world, in the West, whether that's in the US or the UK, London property prices are crazy. You know, crazy. You know, you got people in London, honestly, me included, right? You know, you buy a property years ago, the amount it's going for now, effectively, we're just property millionaires. Not because we're rich, it's just because we're just just happen to buy at the right time. And, but, you know, unless you're going to move abroad, you're not going to see the benefit of it anyway, because every house in London basically costs the best part of £1 million. It's not like you're going to move somewhere and make money on your property, because everything costs a lot of money, unless you're going to move to Scotland or somewhere far. But anyway, right, I'm going to bring up another property, right? This is a brilliant one, right? Now, remember, guys, this is about the whole thing about relocating successfully to another country. This is about relocating successfully to another country. Now, let me just make sure I've got the right one. Nope, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Apologies for that. Let me just get rid of that altogether. And let me bring up the right property. Let me bring up the right one. Apologies, I've got so many tabs open there, and it really doesn't work when you try to work like this. All right. That's the one I want. Yeah, there we go. All right, lovely. So you should be able to see, here we go. Yeah, you can see that. Good. Apologies. Right, okay, so this is another property. This is our last one in East Legon. We've actually got one other after this, right, that we will look at. But this is a one-bed apartment for sale at East Legon, right? Not East Legon Hills, East Legon. East Legon Hills is, if you like, on the outskirts of Accra, Greater Accra. East Legon is basically, one of the nicest bits of Accra, right? This is going for 1,129,500 Ghana cedis. Let's quickly see how much that is. Right, so put it in my little calculator. Right, so 1,129,500 Ghana cedis is 82,000 USD, right? And in pounds, that's 65,500 quid, right? So that is not bad, right? I would buy an apartment for 65k, right? If it looked like this, right? If it looked like this. So let's have a little bit of a look. Right, we'll come to the floor plan in a minute. Right, okay, so for this, for 65k, right? 65,000 British pounds, you get a swimming pool. That looks dangerous, but anyway, I'm sure it's not. You get a swimming pool which looks like it's on the top of one of the buildings, right? Basically, the view is amazing, and we recognize that building there. Can you see that? That building there lets you know where it is. This building is pretty much in the center of Accra, right? So it's just telling you what the view is, what you can see from the view, right? I mean, that's flipping amazing, man. Come on, man. That's beautiful for 65k, right? Right, okay. And this looks like you're buying it off plan as well, right? Remember what we said about off plan buying and all that stuff about a solicitor. That's a gorgeous view, man. That is beautiful. Making sure that your solicitor operates between Ghana and whatever country you are currently living in. Get a good solicitor. Remember, no money changes hands, nothing like that. No stupidness. Your job is to vet, not just vet women, but vet the property buying scenario, right? That's for you to do. This one's got a gym. This just looks gorgeous. And I know this is an artist impression, but man, this is beautiful. Right, these are some of the rooms. Now, obviously, if you're going to be buying a studio, right, then yours isn't going to look like this. This just gives you some sort of an idea as to what the fixtures and fittings and is going to look like in your studio. There might be some sort of an option for you to get different finishes and things like that, which is sometimes quite standard when you buy off plan. Right, so this one's going to have a cafe, a mini mart, as well as communal gardens. Basically, this is a nice place for the money. This is brilliant. Right, so bloody hell, look at that. Right, so this one, let me just check you can actually see this. Right, yeah, you can. Right, so for 65k, right, you are getting a cafe and a mini mart, a reception, and you're getting a rooftop swimming pool. And you got a rooftop swimming pool, you've got a gym, and you've got another pool and terrace in the other building. This is crazy. That's nice, man. Right, okay, so this is what's this? This is the studio, right? So a bit of an odd shape, but it's still nice, right? So you got your bedroom there, got your ensuite here, ensuite bathroom there, kitchen table. This is the little kitchen area. This is a nice place, and you got your little living room area there and the balcony. This is all right for the money. This is brilliant. I'm going to let you look at those room sizes. 65k, that's what you get for 65k. I suppose what you got to factor in on top, it's never a lot of money, but the whole thing about service charge, it's not going to be a lot of money, but just factor that in. I think it's in most of these places, it's sort of 100-300 Ghana cedis a month, which is nothing. But And these are all slightly, I don't know if they're the same price or slightly more. The ad, in fact, let's look at this. Let's just have a little bit of a look. Oh yeah, so the prices are all slightly different, right? So it says there, 1-bed Apex apartment for sale, East Legon. Right, it says the 112,000 Ghana, sorry, 112,000, 112,000 USD. That's what it says there. 1,120,000. These figures are, I'm sure that's not the same as that, but I mean, it must be. No, it must be. It must be. I can't remember what I said when I did my calculation, but anyway, you can see that there. So 112,950 American USD. So the bigger apartments, obviously a little bit more money, depending on floor size, depending on the floor finish and size. This development consists of a studio. Oh, I'm always looking at studios, by the way. A studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom apartments that are amalgamated within a gated complex, of which the West Wing complex comprises 11 residential floors with ground floor CAF and a lower rise 8-story East Wing that only encompasses apartments. The apartments and suites have been created to deliver on both style and lifestyle properties and are situated within an inviting environment in East Legon, arguably one of the most self-sufficient neighborhoods in Accra. Home to many restaurants, bars, nightclubs, international schools, and activity centers for the family. Yeah. This apartment comes with an ensuite bedroom, or rather ensuite bathroom, a fully fitted kitchen, and an open plan living. This gated complex has amenities such as rooftop swimming pools, you saw them in the picture, roof level gym, communal gardens, reception lifts, 24-hour security, CCTV and access control, 24-hour security, backup utilities, CAF and Minimart, internet access, laundry, and cleaning, which means basically you can book them and they'll just come and clean your place. So you don't even have to clean your own place. 24. Can you see why these places are a lot better to get if you plan on doing an Airbnb business? You just buy these and they just literally run themselves. 24-hour FM hotline, gym and pool access, underground parking, right? What else is worth reading? This is a good one. Anything like this, right, is worth getting and sticking straight onto Airbnb, or basically just running your own company and putting these. Well, you could do all of the above, couldn't you? But this is a nice one. This is a nice pad. This is a great relocation pad. If you're looking to relocate to Ghana, this is a great relocation pad. Yeah, this is a brilliant relocation pad. Yeah, beautiful. That's a great relocation pad. Yeah. That is a great relocation pad. Right, you know what? I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to call it a day. I did say that was the last one, but I've got energy to do one more and then we're just going to call it a day, yeah? Right. So let me find this and bring it up. Let me find it. It's this one. Right. Let me drop it in. Right, cool. Okay, so all right, so this is in slightly a different area, right? I mean, I'm not going to bother showing you on the map, but basically it's just right. It's in Accra, right, on the outskirts of Accra. All right, so let us have a little bit of a look. Let me try and get rid of that horrible thing. 1 minute, bear with me. Just make sure that you can still see it. Yeah, you can. Right, okay, so that's the exterior of the building, right? So it's got electric gates, this place, right? The building looks nice. I think it would have been better if they had taken a photograph during the day, but anywho, right? This is now remember, let's look at the price. This is a cheap one, right? This is 780,000 Ghana cedis, right? So this is the cheapest of the lot, right? So 780,000 Ghana cedis is just 45,000 British pounds. Just make sure I got the USD correct. Right, that's 56,799. Just say 56,000. Yeah, 56,800 USD. Yeah, and just remember, it's actually 13 Ghana cedis to the dollar. All right, let's look at this lovely pad. Right, quite. You can see how small it is, right? That's a 2-seater sofa. That's the TV. But just remember how much it is, yeah. And that the idea is it's just a pad, just somewhere just to be when you're in Ghana. And when you're not there, you can put it on Airbnb. That is what this is all about, right? That's what this is all about. You get a little swimming pool, right? So I'm assuming that's the entrance possibly to your place, just here, right? You get a pool. That'll be a communal pool. Yeah. So it's just a little, this is a tiny place. Make no mistake, this is tiny, right? But remember where it is, you're in Accra, in the center of Accra. You're just, it's cheap, it's cheerful. But look, you could put this on Airbnb. You could rent it out all day long. And when you're in Ghana, right, you could be using this yourself. Really, that's what that one's all about. I just thought I'd just show you it because, like all major cities, location, right? Location. East Legon is in the very center. It's a sought after area. This tiny, cheap little apartment puts you in the center and you get a swimming pool. Yeah. That's what you get. That is what you get. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that because, and again, it's just all about the benefits of relocating, the benefits of being in a place like East Legon. Yeah, that puts you in the vicinity of this. And it's not all about going to another country for women, but let's face it, guys, it's part of it. It's not all about going to another country for a female, but let's face it, it is part of it. If you're unmarried, if you've not got a wife already, right, and you're divorced, actually, you're divorced, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? Surely, remember that film Planet of the Apes? Charlton Heston's character, what did he say? Right? He said it to one of the apes. He said, surely there's got to be somewhere better than this. And there is. And Ghana, in my opinion, is one of those places. All of those lovely apartments that we were looking at will put you, as long as you can sustain yourself financially, whether that's, whether your plan is to start some sort of business, might be property, might be about building a bar, taking over a bar, running a nightclub. It might be, but if you're one of these people that's a digital nomad, you could work from anywhere on planet Earth. So this is about you looking at a life elsewhere. That whole thing about becoming a global black guy, a global black man. The fact that your community can be global, right? Global. The whole thing about going somewhere and finding a wife or being able to pick from women who are more traditional, more likely to stay married, more likely to see you in a respectful manner, to treat you with respect. Yeah? Let's face it, that's not happening in our part of the world. That's not happening in our part of the world. So the reason why we're looking at property, whether or not that's to buy, well, mainly to buy, whether that's, whether or not that's apartment and houses, is to put us in a place and space where we can have a more fulfilling life, where we can pour into a woman who's less likely to run off with the kids and try and take us in a divorce court for the shirts off our backs. Right? That's what this is all about. That's what this whole live stream is all about. And in this case, as I said to you before, I've already looked at the women of Kenya, the lovely women of Kenya. This time round, I want you to know that all of the women you're seeing here are all 100% Ghanaian. 100% Ghanaian. And as far as I'm concerned, every single one is a winner. You know that song by Hot Chocolate? Everyone's a winner, baby. Everyone's a winner, man. Every one of these women is a winner. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one for fake hair, weaves, wigs, and lace front. I don't know. Yeah, some of these women have got wigs, and weaves, and lace fronts, right? But the bottom line is what I'm really focused on is the software. I'm going to keep coming back to it, right? The mentality in our part of the world. Let's be honest, right? If the women that are going to watch this stream are honest, living in the West, but living in England, living in Europe, living in America, just be honest, right? It's not an issue. I mean, I'm way past it, man. I really am. But let's just be honest. You have no respect whatsoever for black men. None. Let's just be honest about it, right? So what I'm simply saying is, guys, we can just bounce somewhere else. If you can, if you've got the means to do it, right? Consider life somewhere else. That's all I'm really saying. No hard feelings, man. You know what I mean? In the UK, we used to have a brilliant, gorgeous, beautiful black community that I grew up in, that I personally loved. But that was years ago. You've got black communities all over the African continent. You've got black communities. You've got to learn the language. Guys, you're going to have to learn the language. You could do that over time. Take online tree lessons, if I'm pronouncing that word correctly, which I'm probably not. But you could take online lessons, which I recommend you do. Me and the wife were taking online tree lessons in the UK, but I think we've got to revisit them. We paid for them. We got them, got them on the computer, so we can come back and we do plan to go back and actually revisit those lessons. We have to. That's if we're planning on moving to this to Ghana or whatever country we're planning on moving to. So you can do that. What we will look at is business, whether that's the whole thing about being a self-employed digital nomad or looking to start up some sort of business while you're after you relocate to that country, whether or not you can transport the business that you're currently doing in whatever country you're in to whatever country you're looking to head to. We'll look at that too. All right. And I want to say this as well. Listen, this isn't about finding a perfect woman. All this is about is finding, if you like, someone who's simply show you a little bit of respect and not want to basically divorce you in 7 years' time. That's really all it is. That's really all it is. No more than that. No more than that, really. Just somebody who simply looks at you and puts a little bit of value on you, right? That's really all this stream's about. And honestly, I think every man, regardless of color, I think every man deserves at least that. If you put something in, if you're prepared to protect, provide, cultivate, lead, and cherish a woman, the least you should expect is a little bit of respect back. But that's absent in the West. It's as simple as that. Generally speaking, there's always going to be that needle in the haystack. But, we just have to be honest about the likelihood of you finding it. Right? You just got to be as honest as possible with yourself, Mr. Black Man. The likelihood of you finding that needle in the haystack in the West. Don't see it as a sign of failure if you have to relocate to another country. People do it every day. People do it every single day. And what you stand to gain is a lot more, in my personal opinion, than what you stand to lose. So, that's it. So, you know, to round off, is the juice worth the squeeze? You can see the question at the bottom of the screen, you know. Yes, the juice is definitely worth the squeeze. You can see it. The juice is worth the squeeze, man. Anyway, look, I'm out, right? So hopefully you got something out of that live stream. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you know when I go live. Share it, clip it, do what you want, and I will see you on the next one.